Welcome back, Freedom Savers. So it's been another month. A lot has changed for me, gone on at the same time. I'm well on track on my plan. I hope you're all doing well. Let's jump into this real quick, and I'm just going to do my normal monthly updates and my life changes and all that good stuff. One big life change for me is I quit smoking. I quit smoking on September 15th, so it's been 14, 15 days, somewhere in that range. And some days are better than others, so we'll see how that continues. But I made the decision and I quit. All right, let's get into the finances, shall we? So we'll start with the Roth. As you can see, the Roth's still doing good. I'm at 12,478, somewhere in that range. If I pull up the spreadsheet on the Roth, you can see for the year I'm up 11.81%. Overall, I'm up 8.57%, and that includes dividends. Let's hop over to our taxable account. Taxable account is doing really well. Now, I don't know whether I said this in the last one or not, but I did cash out the Fidelity account, the FCROX, Total Stock Market Fund, Index Fund there. It was not outperforming Vanguard or any of the others, even though it had zero expense ratio like I expected it to. So I cashed it out and decided I'm getting back into dividend growth. I'm just going to create a dividend growth portfolio in taxable account and use that as a high yield savings account instead of using a high yield savings account. It is more risky, but I also can get more return. So that is the plan. This is a major part of my actual being able to retire at 55 plan, because this account here is going to be the account that I have enough money in to live on for 7 years. 6 of the 7 years anyway, until I get on Social Security. So from 55 to 62. So I'm looking for long-term dividend growth stocks, of course, and I've added some in here. I've bought all of them at the low end of the 52-week average, except for 2 of them, which was IBM and KTB, just because I definitely wanted them in my portfolio. I've been buying the ones that are more on sale other than the other ones, and of course the ones that have higher dividends than the other ones. So that's why it's kind of a mess here, and auto invest is off. I manually pick what I am purchasing when I am purchasing it, rather than having just an overall average yield like I do on the Roth. So if we look at that spreadsheet for taxable, I am currently up a whopping 2.48%, and that includes dividends. But I just started this portfolio. I redid it from just having $100 VTI. I just started this one in August, so August 25th. So it's only been 1 month. All right. In this 1 month, I'm actually producing $85.38 a month in dividends. So not too bad, moving that money over and then just depositing a bunch of it, of my paychecks into there. I did add this column for payout ratio to help track companies that are getting too high on their payout ratio, that type of stuff. And in the Roth, I actually sold off a few stocks and added a few stocks based on that payout ratio. Because of course I want them to be long-term payers, and if they can't afford the dividend, then no reason to have them, because they will eventually drop it, especially in a downturn. On the budget, I moved all my taxable accounts up into the budgeted section. So now the money in these accounts is actually budgeted in here. And so anything that's not actually budgeted for something just goes in the taxable investing category. So it says I have 31,800 in here. But what this allows me to do is I get 3% interest on my checking account balance up to 10,000. Anything over 10,000, I'll get 0.5%. So I want to keep everything else invested over 10,700, 10,600, somewhere in that range, right? So what I've done is I've added the taxable accounts in here, and I originally was going out and looking for a high yield savings account to invest in to put the extra money in, but then it's another account I have to deal with and track. If it's a checking account instead of a savings account, which would produce a little more, then I'd have to use debit card, blah, 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 just different rules. And I just didn't want to have to deal with a whole nother account on it. So I decided to just use the M1 taxable dividend portfolio to use it as a high yield savings account, even though, of course, I'm taking higher risk because the stocks could go down in value. We could have a market crash, any of that good stuff. But again, I'm picking long-term stable companies that should continue to pay dividends, hopefully even in a downturn. So anyways, yeah. So that's the idea, is anything over 10,700 is getting invested into the M1 taxable account. And we're going from there. So yeah, and I should get a 4% plus yield on that, hopefully. Spending report. I did change all the categories on the budget. As you can see, I got food, transportation, housing, cell phone, entertainment, miscellaneous, blah, blah, blah. And I threw all of the little things I had separated for that pertain to that subject into the same category. So like transportation, I used to have like car maintenance under infrequent expenses, vehicle registration under once a year or whatever. I just had them in different areas, right? And now they're all added up under transportation, so I know exactly how much it costs me each month to have my transportation. Same with housing, etc., etc., etc. So that's going to be a little bit helpful on the reports. So the reports here shows I've spent negative $13,000 this month. That's because I carried over $15,000 from Fidelity. Anyways, so under housing, $535 of it, or 36% of my spending, not my income, my spending has gone to housing expenses. Same with transportation, 17.6, food, 16.6, recurring, miscellaneous, cell phone, which I will get to in a minute, and entertainment, and etc. So anyways, net worth wise, this shows my net worth's gone up $7,437, somewhere in that range. I'll get to that over here because of course these don't include taxes and other things in it. Now on the cell phone, I was paying AT&T $78 a month for my cell phone service, and that's just me. So I wanted to drop that. I ran across a video for Mint Mobile. I decided to give it a shot, and now I'm paying $20 a month instead of $78 a month. Well, technically $22.06 with the fees. But so I dropped my cell phone service down to what, 50% or not 50%, dropped it by $50+ a month, which comes like $625 or $652 a year savings. Add that up over 5 years, comes to like 3,000 something, 3,800 something maybe. And then you invest that and you get, I don't know what rate I picked at, maybe 6% or something, 7%, whatever. You reinvest it, compound it, and basically I'm saving about $5,000 over the next 5 years just by changing that cell phone plan. I think that's worth it. The downfall to it is Mint Mobile's data is very iffy. It can be very slow and very intermittent. So I'm a little worried about that if I do try to go out and do Uber deliveries, because that internet connection has to be there for food delivery. So I'm gonna have to do some testing on that, but it does seem to work, and it works fine most of the time. But the internet service is a little, it's not as good as AT&T's. Let's just put it that way. So we'll see how that goes. But for now, cell phone service has changed, and I'm saving a ton of money. I have been slacking on Uber and food deliveries, by the way. I'm not really doing a lot of that. I'm also not doing a lot of overtime, just because the workplace has seemed a little more toxic than normal lately. Yeah. So anyways, I recalculated my retirement calculations. I want to show you that. So first I'll show you my monthly calculations here. Now let's go to the retirement calculations first. So real adjustable calculation with dividends only. So basically when I retire, I want to be able to only touch the dividends and never touch my original investment, and any reinvested dividends can just grow. The toughest part, of course, is going to be from age 55 to 62 before I can get Social Security at 62. So that's going to be the toughest years to live on. Once I get Social Security, then I have a pension and Social Security. And just with those two alone, I will be able to survive without ever touching my investments. The investments will be just bonus. Like my Roth will be bonus. I need to figure out how to make an income for those first 7 years while I'm rolling over the 401k into there. So let's start over here with some assumptions. First, I'm going with the worst case scenario here, right? I'm saying that my portfolio will only grow by 1% a year, and the dividend growth will only grow by 1% per year by default. You know how the companies raise their dividend every year. These are dividend growth companies. They normally are much higher than that, and growth will obviously be much higher than that, hopefully. So overall, growth on the portfolio, I'm only accounting for a dividend rate of 3.2% and overall growth with the growth rate of 4.2%. So my entire investment will only get 4.2%. This is worst case scenario, obviously. I should be getting a much higher growth rate on this, and probably better dividend rate. Right now I think I'm getting 3.29. Overall, in all of my accounts, I'm getting 3.5. And the taxable loan's getting like 4 right now. And the growth, of course, as you saw in taxable loan, I'm up 2.48%. And if you subtract the 1% on dividend growth, then that's 1.48%, which still beats the 1% worst case scenario. My Roth, I'm up 11 point some percent this year alone. So these are really conservative numbers. Now, at 55, if I have $57,600 saved in the taxable account, then I can withdraw $800 a month and work a part-time job for any extra income and survive. So I can still retire at 55 and be fine. You know, just do some Ubers, whatever over here. But the goal is to have $72,000 in there, which is 6 years at $1,000 a month. So my plan is to actually get $72,000 deposited after tax money into my taxable account. And that's not counting any growth or dividend reinvestments, all right? So it will be higher than this. But I'm just assuming no growth, no gain, no loss, everything's flat. I want $72,000 there. That will give me $1,000 a month for 6 years from age 56 through age 61 until I can take Social Security. Now that first year, 55, when I retire, I plan on having $12,000 sitting in the bank already when I retire, which, as you know, I've already got on average $10,000 to $12,000 sitting in there. Like my emergency fund is 3 months of expenses plus $5,000, which is $11,000 basically. So I just plan on having $12,000 in the bank when I retire. All right. And then the $72,000 in the taxable account. At that point, I should also have $250,000 in the 401k. I will probably have more. This is just how much I will have deposited on top of what I already have in it. So I already have $125,000 in there. I plan on depositing another $125,000, bringing it to $250,000. When I retire, I should have $250,000 sitting in the 401k. So with these numbers, which are pretty conservative and I know I can do, is I'll have the $12,000 in the bank, and for the very first year, I'll have the $12,000 in the bank, right? So I'm going to take $500 a month out of that. That's $6,000 for the year. All right. The other $6,000 I'm going to divide up over the next 6 years, which comes to $83 a month. All right. So there's $12,000 spent. That's the $12,000 cash in the bank over a 7-year period. That's how it's going to be spent. Then I'm going to have $250,000 in the 401k, which I'm trying to roll over to the Roth, right? But I'm not going to get all of that rolled over because I actually need some of that money to live on that first year. So what I did is I did the maximum amount of money I'm going to pay taxes on at the 12% rate, which is $39,475. I did that for 6 years, and then the difference I'm actually going to withdraw that first year from the 401k because I have access to it at 55 without penalty. So I'm going to take $13,200 out, So all that adds up to 250,000. I'll take the 13,200 out, and we will start living on that as well. I do have to pay taxes on that, so that comes out to about $264 a month. So overall, that will allow me to spend $333 a month for the first year out of that, and that will leave me $6,000. That's $4,000 for the year after taxes, and then again $6,000 over the next 6 years, which is another $83 a month. And over those 6 years, I'll be taking $1,000 a month out of the taxable account and drawing it down. So you add all of this up. And also dividends from the Roth, which I don't really want to take, and I won't take unless I have to. These are maximum amounts that I will be able to play with. So if I don't have to take these, I won't, and I'll continue to let the Roth grow. But for now, this is the plan, and I'll be able to take this much out per month. With all this said and done, the very first year, I should have $1,674 a month to live on, which is fine because technically I'm living on that now. All right. My monthly budgeted amount is $1,884 a month, but I also save a bunch of that. I'm really living on less than $1,500 a month. That's what it really comes down to. So I can live on this $1,674.31 for 1 year. It should not be a problem, especially considering that this is worst case scenario, right? Chances are I'm going to have more than this because this dividend income right here from the taxable account will be higher, and I'll be able to spend and use that as well. During these years, I won't be paying any taxes other than my rollovers and my first year distribution because I won't be making enough. The dividends from here come from a Roth, so they're tax free. This is cash that's already in the bank, so no taxes on that because it's already been paid. This is distribution that's already been paid from the first year, and this is taxable account, which is actual money I've already deposited in there, which is after tax money that's already been paid. So I will have zero taxes to pay on this. The taxes I'll be paying on this, which average $378 a month, will be due to the 401k to Roth conversion. So the plan here is basically after age 61, I will never pay taxes again in my life. All right? I will never pay taxes again in my life. I also will never have required minimum distributions because it's all in a Roth. And I also will never have to even touch my Roth investment or any of my retirement investments after age 61 because I'll be able to live on the pension and the Social Security. So my pension I've got as $900 because I said $1,000 a month. Health insurance will be about $100 a month coming with my company covering it. And then Social Security of about $1,500 a month. Technically, the pension really should be a minimum of $1,200 a month. Social Security should actually be higher. So again, worst case scenarios, this really should be higher. So between these two, I can live on that income without taking any of the dividend income from the Roth. So basically, I never have to touch my Roth, including dividends. I don't have to take the dividends out of the Roth to live on, and I don't ever have to touch the original investment. And if I don't do that and it really grows, minimum it would grow is basically $1 million. And it's going to grow continuously forever, and I never have to touch it. But of course, that's not any way to live. If you got the money, you might as well spend it and enjoy life a little bit. So of course, I will be taking dividends off of there and never touching the original for a while. And then once I reach a certain age, then I'll probably start pulling a little bit from there as well. But of course, there'll still be plenty left over to be leaving to my children. So that's the plan, guys. I know this is drug on, and I don't even know if I made any sense because, again, I'm not feeling that good today, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just kind of, I don't know, just feeling blah. Anyways, so this is the retirement plan. If you come over to the monthly calculations here, I mean, I'm really living on $1,484.32 a month is what I'm doing. Yeah, in order to get $72,000 into the retirement plan, plus basically next year I need to save $32,000 a year from here on out, starting next year, right? So that's 25,000 in the 401k every year, 7,000 in the Roth every year. That's $32,000 a year in savings. Plus, I need to get that $72,000 in the taxable account, which is separate from that. In order to do that, I'm not actually quite going to be making enough money for my paychecks. So I'm actually going to need to come up with an extra $267 a month from a side hustle or overtime. Overtime technically really should do this and bring an extra $3,200 for the year. No problem whatsoever. So I shouldn't even have to do the side hustle. So if I do the side hustle, it'll just make it easier. So anyways, long story short, I will be saving $750 a month into the taxable account. And that's starting next month. That's 64 months. So I think that includes the 4 months before next year starts. Let's see, 750 times 12, 9,000 plus 32. So basically I need to be saving $41,000 a year for the next 5 years. So yeah, we will do that. So net worth. So as you can see from the graph, net worth is constantly growing at this point. I did change this to monthly dividends instead of debt because I don't have debt. And monthly dividends will be growing. So if you go to my tracking, last month, net worth was $163,133. All right, and that was adjusted after I made the video. Sorry, guys. I forgot to account for the 401k balance. Anyways, monthly dividend at that point was $33.73 from the Roth. Now my net worth is up to here, and I am actually bringing in $134 a month in dividends per month. Anyways, long story short, here's the summary. I've got $49,500 for blah 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 in the portfolio. I've got $10,000 blah blah in cash, $110 in the 401k. Overall, my net worth is $171,000. The debt again is just credit cards that'll be paid off every month. I've got $47,000 outside of retirement accounts. Overall, 57% of the way to my first goal of $300,000. Yearly dividend income between the Roth and basically all my accounts is $1,608 a year, or $134 a month. Current dividend income. And when I retire, I will have dividend income from the taxable, but I'll also be drawing down on that taxable, so that will also reduce that. But the rollovers from the 401k into the Roth will increase the dividend income per month. So yeah, we'll go from there. That's it. That's where I stand. So I hope you're all doing good, and I'm sorry I'm kind of down today. I didn't really expect to be down. I expect to be more positive today, and I'm not sure why I'm not. I think I'm just tired. Just tired. So anyways, I hope you're doing good, and I'll talk to you next time.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, and if you liked the video, hit that like button for me. If you want to hear any specific type of information, anything that you're interested in, you have any questions, just drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know your opinions on this video or any other video I've made. And if you know anyone else that might be interested in this video, please be sure to share it on your social media and share the knowledge. Thanks guys.